Alberto Del Rio has had a problem at press time here as we're taping this. So now I have stooged when we're taping this, but it's Tuesday. It's January the 3rd. Is today the 3rd? Right. Yeah. So tomorrow would be the Tokyo Dome in Japan, which according to Hulk Hogan, you can go back in time if you fly there and back enough. But anyway, I see. And once again, the complete lack of preparation. No, as we're taping this now, I'm looking at the Wrestling Observer newsletter website, Figure 4 Online, and our friends Brian and Dave there, and also Mike Johnson and Dave Shearer at PW Insider do a wonderful job, despite some people's efforts to knock them. No. And if Dave says something or reports something, you can generally believe it is true unless he issues corrections. However, are you seeing this now, Brian? Are you near your computer? Have you?
Am I near my computer? I'm right in front of my.
Well, you're in front of it, obviously, because you're on this program. I guess that would necessitate that. Let me read for the people from the Wrestling Observer news site. Local police confirmed Monday's report in the Austrian tabloid Krone, Krone, about an altercation involving Alberto Rodriguez, Alberto El Patron. You see how I did that? And his brother Guillermo, who is El Hijo de Dos. You know who these people are. Early Saturday morning at a party after a Friday night show in Leoben, Austria. But here's what the report was: that after a show Friday night, there was an altercation where the two brothers got into a fight and beat a guy up so badly he was hospitalized. Police were called and took them to the station, where Alberto and Guillermo got into a fight with each other. Alberto then knocked out his brother, who was also taken to the hospital. It took 10 officers to separate them, and they put Alberto in zip ties, which he broke out of. And they finally subdued him by putting shackles on his ankles to cuff his feet. The story stated that there was blood splattered on the walls of the police station and some furniture at the station was destroyed. The police confirmed the story but would not release specific names, but did also state the Krone article was greatly exaggerated, at least concerning possibly the blood splattered walls. I don't know. But then the press officer said there was a brawl, blah, blah, blah. They beat up some guy who received undetermined injuries, bruises, and contusions. And the guy was treated and released. But then when they took Del Rio and his brother in the police station, they said they, quote, suddenly started attacking each other. And apparently, his brother was said to have been bleeding very heavily, but didn't appear to be injured that badly. The handcuffs were too small, apparently, for Alberto. So they had to use the zip ties and then the ankle shackle. He did. The quote of the story is he calmed down quickly when put in ankle shackles.
That'll do it usually.
I've only met this guy once in my life, and he was a perfect gentleman. It was in England just back in October. I met him, at the What Culture shows, and he showed up. It appeared to be dressed professionally and had good matches, and was, like I said, first time I'd met him, I talked to him at each show for a little while, just past the time of day. And he was pleasant and clear-eyed, whatever. I can't say anything bad about this guy. I've had no bad interaction with him at all. But that was right after he'd been stabbed. And then I think he's hanging out with the wrong crowd, Brian. I think generally when things happen in this type of frequency to people, they're either hanging out with the bad crowd or wrong crowd, or they are the wrong crowd. So let's hope he's just hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Well, you missed a couple things here. According to the press officer, Fritz Gundring, Grundnig. There was a brawl at a party in a barn between an Austrian and the two brothers. So I love the idea that he worked the show, and then he said, well, what are we doing after the show? They said, come to our barn. We have a hell of a party.
In a party in a barn.
Quick, police, get here. There's a fight. Where are you? We're at the barn.
We're in the barn. Come to such and such address, and then you drive behind the main house about a half a mile. You'll come to the barn.
The only thing would have been better if he had super kicked a cow or something. Let me say, Alberto, if you're listening, next time in New York, get in touch, man. It sounds like you're a lot of fun to hang out with.
Oh, now stop it.
Let's have a party.
But he knocked out his own. Maybe he thought it was his brother. They blamed each other. I don't know. And didn't he get in a fight at a show in Mexico somewhere?
Yeah, he. I hate that it makes me think of Brian Hildebrand when I say this, but
What?
he apparently beat up a Ninja Turtle. That's why it makes me think of Brian Hildebrand, because of the Ninja Turtle angle. He apparently beat up a Ninja Turtle at a show in Mexico who he accused of touching Paige, who is obviously his girlfriend right now, although I think he's still married. But this is going to be a great book. And Alberto goes into the Hall of Fame of Randy Savage, Jimmy Snuka, Ken Patera, Masa Saito, guys whose arrests are spectacular. He didn't bite any of the police dogs like Snuka did, but this is one of the greatest stories ever.
And don't forget Randy Savage at the Waffle House in Nashville with the police dogs and the cowboy.